Well, here it is.
Here it is.
Episode 1. My name's John Urban.
My name is Eric Chelland.
This is the One Off Podcast. Thanks for joining us.
Who, me?
Yeah, you had to be here.
I thought you were talking to me. You were looking at me.
On the program today, episode 1, Dr. Richard J. Davidson. And before we talk to you about Richard and all he's done, I'm mad at you.
You're mad at me?
Yes.
We just started.
It's called the One Off because it was going to happen one time. That's how we established this.
Yeah.
And then I get an email from you. It's like to a Gmail calendar.
Yeah.
That has future recording dates for this program.
Yeah.
Keep saying yeah like it's no big deal.
Well,
the whole show's called The One Off. It was supposed to happen once.
yeah, it's poor marketing, I admit. But I feel like it's going to be a huge success. We've had people just calling us.
We want more.
We need more
We haven't
of
even
this.
heard one and we want more.
Yeah.
So do we have to change the name now?
Nope.
Just call it the One Off Podcast?
See, then it'll be ironic. Don't you
Right.
think?
Thanks, Alanis. Let's talk about Dr. Richard J. Davidson, William James and Vilas Research Professor of Psychology and Psychiatry and founder and director of the Center for Healthy Minds, University of Wisconsin-Madison. Wow. And that's just the beginning. Davidson received his PhD from Harvard University in psychology in 1976. Davidson's research is broadly focused on the neural basis of emotion and emotional style and methods to promote human flourishing.
I love that word.
It's a good word. We're going to hear a lot about it today. He's published over 600 papers, numerous chapters and reviews, edited 20 books. I can't even finish reading a book, but here's one I will finish. His new book, Davidson's new book, Born to Flourish. There's that word again.
Baby, we were born to flourish.
That's not how it goes. It was done with Cortland Dahl, is set to release in March of 2026. In 2014, Davidson founded Humin, formerly Healthy Minds Innovations, a global nonprofit on a mission to make well-being real by translating science into action. Man, it's very smart. He's going to teach us a thing or two.
Yes. You know what I learned?
What'd you learn?
One of my favorite things was that he is a close personal friend of the Dalai Lama.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. Like, I doubt that's ever going to happen to us.
But we're now, what, second degree?
We're 2 degrees, of Dalai Lama.
And Kevin Bacon.
Mm-hmm. Was he there as well?
No, but he could be.
Okay.
Check your Google Calendar.
What else? Stop. If you
Wait, if I
you
get
sign up
Kevin
to Dalai
Bacon?
I was going to go Dalai Lama.
Either one.
If you get them together,
Ooh, that'd be a good conversation.
we would blow all other podcasts out of the water. What else did we learn?
You know, if meditation scares you, John,
It does scare me a little.
it scared me a little bit
Yeah.
too. But I want to let you know that it's easier than you think,
Well, you don't want to let me know. Richie's going to let us know.
only because I've heard the episode.
That's right.
I did the editing, so
So we'll learn that today. That don't be scared of the meditation.
I won't be scared.
or the English language.
Right. And it's not about clearing your mind, John, which
No.
is a fascinating thing that I learned, which made me less scared.
He's going to teach us that you can do it at any time, anywhere. Like well, maybe not right now, but
Yeah, right now. I'm meditating right now.
I can't do it. I can't do that.
Well, but yeah.
There's
I don't
also
want to give it away. I was going to say an example, but I'm not.
let's not.
Teaser.
There's also an app that we're going to learn about.
There is
today.
an app. I have it. It's called Healthy Minds.
Yeah.
It's great.
And you can download it for free in your app store. So before we dive in anymore, we should probably tell the people who we need to thank for today's episode.
This episode is brought to you by Big Dreamers United, a nonprofit designed to help other nonprofits with their creative communication needs.
Nice announcer voice.
Thank you. If you are a nonprofit who needs
Sorry.
If you are a nonprofit who needs some help with video, photos, design, or hosting MC stuff, check out bigdreamersunited.org.
What if you're a big corporation with lots of money? Could they donate?
Or if you're a big corporation with lots of money who would like to donate to BDU, visit bigdreamersunited.org. That's bigdreamersunited.org.
Thanks for sponsoring BDU.
Thank you.
Have you heard of Amy Poehler?
Yes.
She's got a podcast. Everyone does by law.
I think she just won an Emmy for it.
No, she won a Golden Globe.
Let me say that again. I think she just won a Golden Globe for that.
That's what it was. And she opened episode 1 by saying that she's not here to fix you or to make you better. She's just here to have a good hang, which is, that's great. Good for her. Have fun. I'm not saying that I want our podcast to fix anyone or make them better, but in the current state of the world, it'd be okay if maybe something helped you a little bit.
Every little bit helps, John.
Yeah, just to maybe calm things down a little, maybe to give it a little more peace, you know.
So what you're saying is this is like a podcast with a purpose?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not promising anything, but
Well, no guarantees.
We started off with Dr. Richard Davidson for a reason, because he's a very nice man, and his goal is to try and help us all have a little healthier mind. So
Yeah. I'm excited to start the year off with a little knowledge that he dropped too, just to keep my mind going through the year.
and to be positive in this current place that we're in.
Exactly.
Without further ado, you can go either way you want. You can have just a good hang, or maybe something in here will help you out a little bit in this crazy world we're living in. It's Dr. Richard J. Davidson on the One Off Podcast.
Toop.
Dr. Richard Davidson, welcome to the One Off.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. In our intro, we went over your extensive CV. We did a whole list of things in our intro, and you're going to have to trust us that we covered everything.
I trust you.
Are you okay with that?
I'm okay.
All right. Is it true you were one of the most influential people in the world for Time magazine?
In 2006, yes.
So basically, you need to step up your game for 2026?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. All right.
John, you're in the top billion, right?
I am in the top billion.
Congrats.
Thank you very much.
Nice.
The first thing I have for you is, what year did you get to Madison, Wisconsin, for those of you not from here?
1985.
Okay. Harvard, correct?
Yes.
And NYU?
Yes.
And then why Madison, Wisconsin?
They have a very good psychology department here. And when I first came, it was especially good, one of the top 5 in the country. And there had been a history of research in human psychophysiology, the physiological correlates of mental activity, that was very prominent here in Madison in this psychology department. And because of that, it was a position that I was very attracted to.
And then you couldn't leave.
And my wife and I thought it would be a 6, maybe 7-year chapter, and we'd return to the Northeast because we're homozygous New Yorkers.
Okay. Bless you, by the way. So I've spent my whole life here. I can't leave. It's part of my probation. And I've known of you the entire time you've been here. And you were always Dr. Richard Davidson. And then we met last year on a project, and everyone was calling you Richie. And that threw me, because you're Richard Davidson. I mean, I don't know if you know that, but you're kind of a big deal. And so then you said, call me Richie. And I had a hard time with that. Does everyone call you Richie?
Everyone does.
So today,
I mean, there are a few people that still call me Dr. Davidson or Professor Davidson,
So
but they tend to be students.
Right. Respect.
So you should call me Richie.
Okay. And you can call me Johnny, which you now call me
Yes.
now that we're close friends. Eric,
Yes.
this is a problem.
Oh.
Richie, Johnny, what? Ericy?
Well, I don't like that. I don't think.
It
but
doesn't. We'll work on it. Okay.
We'll work on it.
It's not. But this podcast is not about you. All right. The world is a dumpster fire. A lot of the world right now is a dumpster fire. People are losing their minds. We have about 45 minutes with you. Tell us how to fix everything and have healthy minds. Go. All right,
no pressure, right?
I was.
Man.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. So one of the things that is important to recognize is that flourishing doesn't mean being happy.
Okay.
The world is falling apart, and it's a disaster in so many ways and in so many different places. And it doesn't mean we should accept it. It doesn't mean we should be happy. And so flourishing is about a fundamental okayedness. And in response to adversity, I mean, if you are facing a tragedy, if a loved one has passed away, you would grieve. And that's not only is it perfectly acceptable, but it would be really maladaptive if you are happy in response to those kinds of things. If you are facing injustice, it would be adaptive to be energized, even angry about it in a healthy way, so that you have the energy to do what you can do in your situation to help address those injustices. And so it's really important that we not conflate flourishing and happiness. Flourishing is really about expressing these key qualities which allow us to operate on all cylinders when we're really doing our best. And what doing our best means may be very different in different situations. So if we're in a situation that is a challenging situation, doing our best may look very different than doing our best when we're at home with our families. So that's really an important consideration. And we have discovered that to flourish is actually easier than you think. And there are examples of it all over the place. In fact, it's much more prevalent than all the signs that the world is falling apart. It's just that they're so much more prevalent that we ignore them because we tend to pay attention to what is discrepant or surprising or outrageous.
Or the loudest.
The loudest, yeah.
The most covered.
Yeah. So, I think that that's really a lot of what we're talking about is about recognizing these qualities that are already there and then strengthening them.
Doesn't this kind of tie into your early research that early on in your career, you were looking at some of the negatives, the anxiety, you're focusing more on that, and then something happened to you where you changed your perspective, looking at it from a different direction after you met someone. Do I have that correct?
Yeah, that was in 1992 when I first met the Dalai Lama. And he encouraged me. In fact, he challenged me and he said, why can't you use the tools you've been using to study anxiety and depression and stress and fear, and use those tools to study kindness and to study compassion? And that was the first wake-up call that really led to this change.
Can we go back a second, and can you just tell us what it's like to meet the Dalai Lama? Because I'm guessing, unless I just follow you around 24/7, I'm not going to meet His Holiness. How did you feel? Tell us about it.
Well, the very first time I met him in 1992, I nearly had a panic attack. Mm-hmm. And I'm not I consider myself sort of average in the normal distribution of anxiety.
You seem fairly calm most of the time that I've been around you.
Maybe more recent, but at that time, I was very average. But I never had a panic attack, and I never experienced anything like that since. But I was in a waiting room. I was told to sit and wait, and I was thinking about what would be the first words that I would say to the Dalai Lama when I first met him. And I just suddenly froze, and I had no idea what I was going to say.
You didn't open with, "What's up, Dolly?" Wow. What? That's what I would have
gone now with. You're definitely not going to meet him.
I'm sorry. So you froze, and then?
And then my heart was palpitating. I was sweating, and I just, was really, I was trembling. And then someone came into the room and said, "Please follow me." And I got up and I had to go to the next room.
Legs were working?
Legs were working. I came to the next room, and 3 seconds after I arrived, the Dalai Lama arrived, and then everything changed within 15 seconds. And
because he smiled.
More than smiled.
And you felt his presence?
He felt his presence, deeply felt just incredibly cared for, held. He held me literally, physically. And I, within 15 seconds, all the anxiety was completely gone. And I felt totally at home. And I felt more secure probably than I ever felt in my life.
That's fantastic. So what were your first words? Do you remember?
I don't really remember. He was asking me, how am I?
Yeah, he made it about you right out of the gate.
Yeah.
And now you're good friends.
Yes.
And you hang out. What's it like? Do you guys...
I saw him in October.
Do you have sleepovers and order pizza and play board games? What do you...
We do. We do.
You don't play board games.
We don't play board games, but we do. We have had many meals together.
I have watched video of the two of you interacting, and, I don't want to take anything away from you, but the smile when he's talking to you, I imagine he gives a good smile to everyone, but he sees you truly as a friend. So that's very nice.
Yes, it's been an amazing relationship.
Okay, so he gave you a different way to look at things when you're doing your research. When you started out, were things, and forgive me, I'm not a scientist, okay? So I'm just what am I? I'm not even a podcaster. What am I, Eric?
Used to be
somebody. Early on in your research, was it all science, facts, and numbers? Or one of the things that we're interested in talking to people is about creativity. And we're all creative. You get up in the morning, you make a fancy breakfast and put all sorts of stuff in it. Look at this, ta-da. You do a painting and it sells in a gallery for millions of dollars. So everybody can be creative in a way, but how does that work its way into research and science and with your world?
Yeah, well, it's super important. And, I have things to say about that and also about creativity more generally. I actually
You can. We have nowhere to, do we have anywhere to be?
Nope.
Nowhere to be. Go ahead.
I think that humans are actually much more creative than they allow themselves to think.
Or recognize when they're even doing it.
Yeah. And I think that one of the characteristics of the human mind is that it makes associations. And many of those associations are novel associations that are fundamentally creative. But because we are so friggin' distracted, so pulled by stuff in the external world, we actually don't pay attention to what's going on in our minds. And one really great example of that I think most people can relate to is only a relatively small percentage of the population remembers their dreams on a regular basis. And yet,
I don't remember mine. Do you remember yours?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
well, we all dream every single night, at least a few times a night. And that's been definitively shown in the sleep lab. So if you wake a person up immediately after a REM period, which is the period during which dreams are most likely to occur, people always report something that's going on in their mind when they're woken up at that point. But when we get up in the morning, we're just immediately captured by the activities of the day, and we forget. And so this is an example of this rich mental life that's going on for many hours a day that we actually are not aware of for most people. And creativity in general is like that. Our minds are continuously going, but because we are so unaccustomed to exploring, particularly with curiosity, our inner space, we are not paying attention to our creative thought. But in terms of scientific creativity, I mean, the process of taking a kind of abstract idea and bringing it into a testable framework in a scientifically tractable way is a very creative process. And
Especially if it hasn't been done before. It's a pioneer activity, and it's, how do we do that?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's really a lot of what really novel science is about. So I've really had the honor and privilege of having some of those moments in my life. I think most scientists don't have a lot of them, but even just one is a beautiful thing. And, Marvin Minsky, who's a very famous computer scientist at MIT, said even, the most successful scientists tend to have roughly 3 ideas in their life. And so it's not often that we really have a truly novel idea. But when we do, it's pretty special.
You had a question about creativity.
Your research, obviously, and we haven't really got into that specifically, but it involved studying meditation, people meditating. It affects the biology in the brain. And like you said, trying to figure out how to quantify that, how to actually prove it, with real life numbers and the science part of it. Is there anything like that for creativity, where creativity might be spawning something different in a brain?
A little bit.
Yeah.
It's hard to capture because there's no good sort of marker of creativity that's standardized.
Right.
So there are scales, which are self-report measures that, are so-so. So it's hard to really pinpoint what a moment of real creative insight or behavior might be. And it often relies upon the judgments of others as to whether something is, quote, creative. So it makes it challenging to study. But nevertheless, there have been a few studies that I think are especially important that involve trying to harness these kind of aha moments where suddenly, there's like a sudden insight that just is a flash of creative ideas coming together. And at that moment, there is something unique that's been found in the brain.
Something flashes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's go over that for our audience that maybe doesn't know you or know a lot about what you do. We just found a person frozen in ice, and we thawed them, so they've never heard of you. And they're fine, by the way. After it was a slow defrost. They're cold. We got them a blanket. They're fine. And we introduce you, and he says, "What do you do?" And you give him the elevator pitch. You can make the elevator pitch as long as you want, but I think you have to leave before we do. We're staying here all night, right?
Yep.
Okay. So meditation, mindfulness. We're in the Center for Healthy Minds right now. Can you tell Mr. Frozen Caveman what you do?
Yeah, well, the Center for Healthy Minds is an interdisciplinary research center at the University of Wisconsin-Madison, and our mission is to cultivate well-being and relieve suffering through a scientific understanding of the mind. We study meditation, we study mindfulness, we study many other things as well, but all relating to how we can promote well-being and flourishing.
And you believe, if I have this correct, that we can change the makeup of the mind to, if we learn behavior, correct? Is that it? I don't want to steal any thunder from your next book that's coming out in March, but how do we do this? I just had some medical stuff done, and they said sleep on your back, and I can't train my body to sleep on my back. How am I going to train my brain to focus less on the negative and focus more on being positive? And is it all through meditation and mindfulness?
Yeah, so those are great questions. And
for once in my life, I asked a great question.
There are many approaches that one can take, but they all revolve around strengthening certain core skills, we can say, their capacities. And every human being is born with these capacities. Every human being has the potential to flourish because we all have these capacities, but they require nourishing. And it's kind of like language. Every human being has the capacity for language, every normal human being, but that capacity requires that it be nurtured. And so with flourishing, it's the same thing. So our work shows, and you asked whether I believe that this can be, it's more than belief. I know, because there are now, the scientific studies are, I would say, definitive, that we can say with absolute confidence that flourishing can be cultivated. It doesn't mean that everyone is going to be an Olympic athlete of flourishing, but every person can move in the right direction, so to speak. Some. Another really important thing is that it's easier than you think.
How so?
So you asked about how you can do that. Well, I'll give you a few simple tips. One is to be intentionally aware.
Can I jump in there? What's the name of your new book coming out in March?
The name of the new book is called Born to Flourish.
Okay. And you can pre-order it now?
It's available for pre-order wherever you get your books online.
I say this, I don't want to give away the book too much, but aren't there 4 areas that the book will cover?
There are 4 key pillars of flourishing. Awareness
is number 1.
Connection is number 2. Insight is number 3, and purpose is number 4.
And that's when you said awareness, that's what made me think, that's number 1.
Number 1 is awareness. And so what is awareness? We all have the innate capacity for awareness. And what we're referring to here is intentionally bringing our mind to the present. This is where mindfulness would be. It also includes a capacity that scientists call meta-awareness. And what is meta-awareness? Meta-awareness is knowing what our minds are doing. And that may seem strange to some listeners. Don't we all know what our minds are doing? Well, how many of you listening out there have ever had the experience of reading a book where you read each word on a page and you read one page, you might read another page, and after a few minutes you have absolutely no idea what you've just read?
All the time.
Same.
Your mind is lost.
Right.
Yeah. But then you wake up. There's a moment where you recognize that you're lost. That's a moment of meta-awareness. And it turns out that can be trained. And there are people who have more continuous meta-awareness. They don't lose. Their minds don't get lost.
Are we making new behaviors, or are we actually rewiring the brain?
We're dynamically changing the connections in the brain.
Okay.
And part of that is by rewiring it. Literally, the connections among different circuits in the brain are mediated through these white matter bundles. The white matter is the wiring that connects different areas of the brain together. And we can measure that stuff by putting people in modern MRI scanners. And we can see that the wiring in the brain can change. Excuse me.
No problem. Do you need some water?
I'll take a drink.
Yeah. Everybody take a drink.
Yes.
It's drink time. By the way, everyone's drinking water. We're not at a bar or anything. It's the Center for Healthy Minds.
I've got electrolytes in mine.
Do you do?
I do.
Okay. Yeah. I wish I had a low caffeine, though, to be honest with you.
We can get you tea, Johnny.
I'm good, Richie. How about you, Ericy?
Still don't like that.
I had a dear friend named Ericy.
Really? I've never heard that in my life.
Yeah.
Well, now guess what?
Well, now I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
I'm totally fine.
So,
So we were talking about the pillars, right?
yeah, so
We're in awareness, but you were talking about the actually rewiring the brain.
yeah, and what I was referring to is ways that we have to measure it. And in some very recent research, we have seen that engaging with these practices, simple awareness and related practices, for just a few minutes a day for 4 weeks, for a total of not more than roughly 3 hours across 1 month, that is sufficient to actually produce measurable changes in the wiring of our brain.
From when you do the scans.
Yes.
Yeah.
Based on,
You can see it there.
yeah.
Is any of this contagious? What I mean by that is that, like my bike ride example, you ride bikes, right? We keep
do.
talking about riding bikes, and we
This
haven't.
spring we got to do it.
Okay, all right. We'll see if Ericy, see if that happens. Sorry, buddy. When I ride my
You ride
bike,
too?
I don't.
he doesn't. He actually doesn't know how.
I do know how to ride a bike. Thanks. I do know. I have a bike.
Okay, all right.
I could probably keep up.
I tried something one day. I was in a really good mood, and I said, I'm going to smile or say hi to everyone on the bike path and keep track. So I'm kind of a scientist just like you.
Just same.
Yeah, pretty much the same. The Dalai Lama wants to meet me now because of my bike ride experiment.
Not anymore, because you're going to be like, hello, dog.
No, I'm not going to say that. My point is, I smiled at everyone, and I'm going to guess 20%, 15% of people acknowledge me back. So my question is that can we influence others through our behavior, or do they have to do the rewiring themselves?
No, we can totally influence others. In fact, flourishing is contagious.
See,
Totally. And there's really good evidence for that.
maybe they just didn't like me on the bike path. It could have been just me.
Yeah, it also could have been 0% if you didn't smile at anybody.
Yeah,
point.
I mean,
Look at that.
20% is not bad.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, I do that very intentionally. I travel a lot when I go through airports. That's my practice.
Just smiling, saying hi.
Smiling, saying hi, and also just internally wishing that people be well, wishing that they have ease of travel, just sending positive vibes to people.
It is contagious being around you, because I will fully admit that when we worked on a project last year and I would walk in, I'd be a little tired, a little irritated, and then I see you and you had that smile on your face. Yep. So you should do the bike ride experiment with me sometime and see how we do.
I'd love to.
Okay, we'll get the university behind it.
I'll ride behind.
Yes, you will. One of those pull behind carts.
Or rollerblades or something.
Sure. You want to know a fun experiment? Take your Midwest Nice. You're from the East Coast, so I got to be careful here. But take your Midwest Nice and go to New York and say hi to people on the streets. That's a fun experiment.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and people could be very wrapped up in what they're doing and not paying attention. There's a famous little saying, when a pickpocket meets a saint, all he sees is his pocket. Mm-hmm. So it may take more than just simply smiling. But in any case, you will feel better if you are sending out positive vibes than if you're sending out negative vibes. And so simply just wishing that people be well, appreciating people, doing whatever little bit we can in social interactions can really be helpful.
So is that part of the awareness, is acknowledging how you are and your behavior in the world throughout the day?
Well, awareness is really about being aware of both internal as well as external phenomena. Internal being in the body as well as in the mind, aware of our thoughts and feelings, aware of our body, and then being aware of what's outside. But why awareness is so important is because when we are distracted, when our mind is wandering, we are systematically less happy. There's a very famous scientific study that was done more than 10 years ago now, where people were queried on smartphones several times a day with their permission, several thousand people, and they were asked 3 questions. The first question is, what are you doing right now? And they checked off from a list of activities. Second question is, where is your mind right now? Is it focused on what you're doing, or is it focused elsewhere? And the third question was, right at this moment, how happy or unhappy are you right now? And what they found is that on average, the average adult spends 47% of his or her waking life not paying attention to what they're doing. 47% of the time.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And when people are not paying attention to what they're doing, they're systematically less happy. And so even if what they're doing is boring, washing the dishes, if you're paying attention to what you're doing, you're actually happier than if you're not paying attention. And so this is really a hugely important insight. And the title of this paper is A Wandering Mind is an Unhappy Mind. So that's one of the key nuggets about awareness.
I was trying to help my daughter with a homework assignment, and she stared at the page, just kept staring at it. And I'm like, just put something down. Like, even if it's bad. When I write a song, I'm not writing the final lyrics. I'm not writing the final stuff. But I need something there so that your brain can start firing. Because otherwise you're wandering. You're thinking about all the other things. But if you put something down, now you got something to be like, okay, that's cool. I can work around that.
Right. And one other interesting issue that this reminds me of that is pertinent to the interest that you guys have about creativity is people often say when they hear about that experiment, well, they say, isn't a wandering mind important for creativity? And it's a very important question. And the answer is yes, but. And the but is that if your mind is wandering and you're aware that it's wandering, you're not lost, but you're actually aware of the thoughts, then it's wonderful. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that I try to inculcate in my students is to spend at least an hour or two every week simply inspecting the contents of your mind. Just pay attention to your thoughts.
I don't think I need that long to go through mine. Here's what I hear.
That's pretty advanced.
Good. That's pretty good, actually.
Awareness leads to what?
Well, so the second pillar is connection, and connection is about qualities that are important for healthy social relationships. And we know the sort of opposite of connection is isolation, social isolation and loneliness. And in fact, we had a very enlightened Surgeon General of the United States, the Chief Public Health Officer, first under President Obama and then continuing under Biden, Vivek Murthy. And in 2023, he issued a health advisory for our nation on loneliness and social isolation. And one of the things that Vivek Murthy showed in that report is that loneliness actually is a greater risk factor for mortality than is smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Wow. That's what the data show. Mm-hmm. So it's incredible, and it indicates that it's not just a subjective feeling, but it gets under the skin and affects our health in really significant ways. And so social connection is really the reverse. And doesn't mean being necessarily around people all the time, but it means cultivating the qualities of connection. So one of the easiest ways to do that is with appreciation. And I do a little practice every day that takes less than 2 minutes. I'll share it because it may be helpful to people. After I meditate every morning, I take out my calendar on work days, and I just scan my calendar, what I'm going to be doing that day. And actually, Johnny, you were in my practice this morning because I knew that I was going to be doing this gig with you. And
that's what we call it a gig.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just, what I do is think about each person that I'm going to meet with, bring them into my mind and up my heart, and just appreciate some positive quality about them. And it's amazing how I can go through a day that most people would consider ridiculous and stressful with 10 hours of continuous meetings. And I feel like totally energized and nourished.
That leads me to an idea that I've wanted to try, but I don't because I'm too, self-involved or busy or whatever it is. But the connection is just reaching out to someone, but not to set up a lunch or anything, just to say hi. Mm-hmm. But somebody I haven't talked to in a long time. And I think about doing that. I think about making that a daily habit or a weekly habit. And I don't because I come up with all the excuses. But it just, when people do that to me, the joy that it brings me and the happiness that it brings me.
Especially when it's random.
Right. When it's just out of the blue and they're like, oh, what can I help you with? Nothing. I just literally called to say hi.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah. Well, you can send them a note even. Right. There are sort of low effort ways of connecting in those.
A card, I know what's happening with the post office, but a card would be fantastic. When you open up a card from someone you haven't heard from in a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Particularly handwritten, though, that's a thing of the past.
You're taking it a little too far there. So we're going to type it out, stick it in the card, send it off.
Copy, paste.
So anything else on connection?
Those are the key elements. Yeah.
All right, we move on to insight. I know what they are because I got a copy of the book. I didn't get a copy of the book. I just did some research. So next is insight.
Yeah, so insight is often a little hard for people to understand, but what it means is understanding how our thoughts and our beliefs and our expectations affect how we perceive the world, and really appreciating that the world in which we live is literally contoured, it's sculpted by our own beliefs and expectations. And one way to really bring this home is if there is a challenging situation that you're facing, whatever it might be, imagine what it would be like to face that situation as a different person, someone very different than you. Imagine how they would perceive the situation. And it just helps to loosen the grip that our own beliefs and expectations have. And so the first thing is to become aware. Most people, operate and don't even know that they have beliefs and expectations. They're just sort of operating under the hood in the background. But actually, we all have beliefs and expectations that are affecting how we perceive the world. So the first step is recognizing and becoming aware that we do have these beliefs and expectations. And then the second step is to appreciate that our set of beliefs and expectations are different than other people's, and that we all have these and we're all different. And that helps to loosen the grip that our own particular set of beliefs and expectations have. And it allows us to be more empathic with others who may have a different set of beliefs and expectations. It can really help us get unjammed from a particular difficulty we may be enveloped in, so that we have other ways of thinking about it that are different than the ones we're stuck with. And where this is really important is when people are just sitting and resting, and this has been studied neuroscientifically, and their mind is left uninstructed, if you will. They think about stuff, and the thing they think about is what's most important to them. And what's most important to anyone is themselves. That's what they think about. And it's self-referential. And when we can liberate ourselves from the grip that has, the excessive identification that we have with our own sets of beliefs and expectations, it really is freeing and is really helpful for our well-being.
How do I do that?
The easiest way to do that and we've done research on this, is to do a variant of exactly what I was suggesting earlier. So imagine that a challenging situation that you've had in the last year, and imagine someone that you really admire, someone who has what you think of as a lot of wisdom, and then imagine how they would approach that same situation, and then just reflect on that. That's really helpful. And it's accessible to anyone. It's not complicated.
And then that leads us to the fourth, do you call them pillars?
Yeah.
The fourth pillar, which is?
Purpose.
Purpose.
So purpose, in the way we use it, it's not about like changing your life and trying to find something grand and more, quote, purposeful to do, but how can we find meaning and purpose in our everyday lives, even in the most pedestrian activities of our daily life? And is that possible? Is taking out the garbage something that can be purposeful, really meaningful to you? Washing the dishes? And the answer is absolutely. It just requires a little bit of reframing. And that can be easily practiced. I mean, just to give an example from my own life, I mean, it may sound ridiculous, but I do this every day that I'm home. We have a cat at home, and I'm the one who scoops the litter every night. And I do it as a practice, and I reflect on how this is beneficial, not for me, but it's beneficial for the cat, for my wife, for the family, for others who come into the room. And, I just go through that as I'm scooping the litter, and I enjoy it.
Next time I scoop litter, I'm going to put myself in I'm going to use you and how you would attack it and how you would feel about it. And so I'm going to, how would Richie do this? And then I will have that insight there.
You don't have a cat, John.
Or I'll get a cat. Question about meditation. I'm not good at it. Can you give me a 20-second cheat on how to start meditating?
Well, the kind of examples that I gave are not sitting meditation. They're not formal, but
they're active.
They're active. And our research actually shows, particularly in the early stages, that it does not matter in terms of the efficacy, whether you're sitting in a formal meditation or you're doing this as you're navigating your everyday life, while you're commuting, while you're taking a walk. It does not matter. The benefits are comparable. And so that's great news. And it means literally that you don't need to take an extra minute out of your day. You can piggyback this. It just simply means using your mind intentionally. And you can do that while you're doing these other activities of daily living. So my advice to people who say they can't meditate or have difficulty meditating is try doing these active practices. Also, really start modestly. What I often say to people is you choose an amount of time that you think you can really stick to and do every single day for 1 month. Even if it's start with 1 minute, and anyone can do 1 minute.
Which comes first, meditation or mindfulness? Or are they synonymous?
Mindfulness is typically referred to as a type of, it's actually a quality of the mind and there's a kind of meditation, mindfulness meditation, which would be in the awareness category.
Okay.
So it's a kind of awareness practice.
All right. So can I have one without the other, or do I have to they have to coexist for me?
You can do meditations with any of the 4 pillars. So you don't have to. You can start with connection. You can do little appreciation practices. Another thing that you can do on a daily basis is, when in thinking about how to piggyback this onto activities of daily living, humans eat. We eat every day. We eat a couple of times a day. That's a wonderful opportunity to do an appreciation practice. You can just reflect on all the people it took for you to have food on the table and just allow this natural sense of appreciation and just do this for 1 or 2 minutes before you eat each meal. And it's amazing what that can do.
I'm going to do it during my ice cream time.
Okay.
He wasn't in the room for ice cream talk.
No,
No.
You like to eat pints of ice cream. At a
Well,
time.
somebody has to. They're not going to disappear on their own.
I was definitely always afraid of meditation as a word that I heard that I'm like, clear your mind. I'm like, I can't do that. And I downloaded this amazing app, Healthy Minds Program app. It's kind of like, teaching you ways that, it's not that, but it is the appreciation, those different things that they're guiding. Actually, is it Cortland Dahl is the voice on that?
Yes.
Voice of an angel.
Yes, Cortland. And there are other voices too.
Is there?
But Cortland's
I'm early in it, but I thought it was fascinating though, just because it was just like, oh, good. I felt even after listening to those first two that I think I can actually do this. Like this isn't that scary. Clear your mind. Good luck. Here we go.
And it really isn't at all about clearing the mind. Our human minds are meant to think. They're meant to have thoughts. It's not about clearing the mind at all.
Good to hear.
So you can think as much as you want. It's really about being aware.
Yeah.
That's the fundamental kind of substrate of all forms of meditation.
And Eric, I don't think you said the name of the app, but that is your app, correct, Richie?
Yes, it's our app, Healthy Minds Program, and it's totally freely available. So you can get it wherever you get apps.
At your favorite app store.
Yes.
Speaking of you,
John, did you download the app?
I downloaded it and I was going to sign up, but then I ordered a pizza. Priorities.
How was the pizza?
I cleared my mind.
You have to be aware of the pizza.
The pizza
Don't
cleared
clear
my
your
mind.
But just be aware of eating the
Showed
pizza.
appreciation.
I showed
for the
appreciation for the
driver.
people who made the pizza.
That's beautiful.
Yeah,
That's
I had to
great.
go get it. Speaking of purpose, when we started this podcast, I don't know if you know this, but everyone has a podcast. How many are you on today?
Three. Is
that your
so
typical-
far, it's my second.
Is that your typical day? Just
No.
3 podcasts?
No.
I hope you
don't.
appreciate them. Do you meditate during them? You're meditating right now.
I'm trying to.
When
Not always so good.
Eric and I, you should get the app. It would help you.
Yeah, I try to use it when I can.
Eric, when we started talking about doing a podcast, I said, okay, but everyone has one. What are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about creativity and where it comes from and how it helps people. So
In
not
all
just
walks of life.
in
like
all walks of
different-
life. Yeah, we don't care. And then I said, but let's also make it a podcast with a purpose, so that when we have a guest on, we say, what's your favorite nonprofit or a nonprofit that you love? So that it's more, conversation important, but we also want to know, now you have a nonprofit wing, correct?
We have a nonprofit associated with the Center for Healthy Minds.
Can you quickly just tell, because we're running out of time, can you tell us how what's different from the center and the nonprofit?
Sure. The center basically is a research center at the University of Wisconsin-Madison, an interdisciplinary research center. The nonprofit is a vehicle to harness the insights from the research and bring them out into the world in a way that can benefit people.
So people can check it. They can go to Center for Healthy Minds to learn more about you, but the nonprofit they go to
the website, the nonprofit used to be called Healthy Minds Innovations, and we just went through a rebranding. It's now called Humin, Humin, humin.org. So if you go to humin.org, humin.org, you can learn about the nonprofit.
So other than Humin, your own nonprofit, is there another organization or nonprofit that you like to support?
Many, yeah.
Do you have a favorite? And we'll, if you have to think about it, we'll edit out the dead space.
No, I have Tergar.org is a international organization that supports the teachings of Mingyur Rinpoche, who is a Tibetan Lama who has been very influential in our research. He's been to our lab many times. He has graciously donated the many hours in the scanner. He is the monk who has spent the most time in an MRI scanner of any living monk.
As Guinness called?
You should get a trophy for sure.
Yeah. So his organization is called Tergar.org, and actually Cortland Dahl, who's on our app, is the executive director of that organization. It's another nonprofit, and it is involved in spreading his teachings throughout the world.
Okay, and we'll put a link to that up on our page. I have 2 quick questions because we're almost out of time with you, but if you have anything, jump in.
Go for it.
Your job and what you do, you get to go all around the world. Obviously, meeting the Dalai Lama was fantastic. I want to know from you, Richie, I want to call you doctor, but Richie, can you share with us something that's been just a surprise chunk of fun for you? Just something like I love talking about your book and talking about what you do and trying to help people. But what about you? Have you ever you sit on a mountaintop and look at a sky? Like, do you have a moment that resonates with you that stays with you?
Well, I mean, there have been many moments. One of them, I mean, that's just coming up for me right now when you ask that question is visiting Bhutan.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we were walking one day and we ran into this peasant who we talked to. We had a person with us who can translate and talked to him, and he was going to visit some family members, and we asked him about where they live, and he said, well, it's about a 4-day walk. And he was carrying most of his possessions on his back, and he was like beaming, radiating just this glow of flourishing. And so that was a moment that has really stuck with me. But there have been many, many different kinds of moments.
I was just looking for one, and that was a great one. Is it easier for us to flourish if we take away all the distractions? So he had a long walk, but he had less distractions.
Yeah, I definitely think it is. We are sadly all part of a grand experiment for which none of us have provided our informed consent.
Mm-hmm.
And that is eroding our global well-being. And we're seeing the catastrophes that are consequences of that. And it's a huge problem. I think that the kinds of skills we're talking about, we need to start cultivating in our young children. Part of that is also digital hygiene,
mm-hmm.
to help them change their relationship to the devices. The devices are not going to go away. We don't have control over them, but we do have control over our own minds. And so that's where we need to, I think, put our emphasis.
Is it feasible we can clone you? Because we may need more help.
Fortunately, there are a number of others like me who are trying to do this as well, which is great.
Good. Thank you. Anything from you?
I'm just glad there's only one Johnny.
The new book comes out in March. It's called Born to Flourish, Key Tools to Help Train Our Brains to Overcome Depression, Despair, and Loneliness. The author is Richie Davidson, or Dr. Richard Davidson, from the Center for Healthy Minds in Madison, Wisconsin. A pleasure to talk with you. I'm going to do my best to take a lot of what was said here today and put it into practice.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for having me. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do you have faith in me?
I have faith in you, Johnny, and you, Eric.
Thank you. See, now I like it.
Sure.
Now
when Richie says it, you like it, but not me.
Yes.
Did we miss anything that you want to talk about?
No, I think this was good.
Okay. Did I throw you with any of my sarcastic glibness?
Not in the least.
Okay. Because I've listened to a lot of your podcasts, and I'm not, you talk to some very smart people that know what you're talking about. And
you are among your equals.
Oh, stop it. Oh, okay. Build me up, Buttercup. I just want to go to the next sleepover with the Dalai Lama. That's all. Is there a way I can get invited?
I wish I could.
Hey, how was the trip you went to see the Dalai Lama in October?
Yeah. It was great. Actually, if you go on the Dalai Lama website, they put out...
the Dalai Lama has a website?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it DalaiLama.com?
Yeah, .org, I think.
.org. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Right. There is a very short video clip. It's like 2.5 minutes of me and my wife being with the Dalai Lama.
Dalai Lama.
So cool.
Do you have to bring him something, or do you just show up and just your presence is a gift?
Yeah, I don't bring him. I mean, I used to, but that was...
You're old friends now.
Yeah.
All right.
Excellent.
I think we're covered.
Okay.
Great.
Very good.
I told you he was fascinating.
He was very fascinating.
A great big thanks to Dr. Richard J. Davidson, Richie, as we like to call him, Eric-y. And thanks to his team for making it all happen. The man is popular. He's got a lot going on, and they secured him for us.
That was so kind.
Yeah, there was a sad part to the recording, though.
So sad. What was that?
We were going to go for ice cream.
Oh, that's right.
But it was, what was the temperature?
It was like 2 degrees.
It was cold, so we decided to postpone, and we're going to go like in the summer. We're all going to. There's going to be a Center for Healthy Minds ice cream outing with the One Off Podcast,
and you're all welcome to join us.
Everyone can join us
if
at
you
the
can
terrace.
find us.
Yeah, Eric's buying.
Nope.
Speaking of buying, you should go to the place where they sell books and pre-order your copy of Dr. Davidson's new book, Born to Flourish with Cortland Dahl.
Or if you're listening to this after March 26, it's out.
It's out now if it's later.
Welcome to the future.
That's right. Hello. How you doing? I hope better because you're meditating now.
I bought a book.
Yep. And you're using the app.
Yes.
Right.
Healthy Minds app.
That's right. Everything is coming up roses. You're right?
Yeah, I was just breathing.
Yeah.
That was
Hey,
me
your nose
breathing.
is clear now. That's it for the one-off. We'll see you. Apparently, there's going to be another one, and we'll see you when the next episode, as the kids say, drops.
See you next time.
What he said.